It was Rob gaslighting, which is what Rob does. It's the reason that Rob has never had a healthy relationship in his life at almost 28 years old. Rob does not like to be held accountable for his own actions. We saw that on Love Island. It does work much better for him here, though. Well, time to talk about another awful episode of the Traitors US Season 4. The episode was mixed. On one hand, Candice is out, which was my last investment in this season. But on the other hand, at least Colton's bitch ass is out as well. The only positive of the season so far to me is Colton finally gone. I think what really kind of cemented this season as the worst of the franchise is that we finally get traitor on traitor drama, which is already a redundant mess of this show as of late. But at least it was some drama, and then it's really only 10 whole minutes of traitor on traitor drama because Candice is already out. I thought at least bold traders would be able to keep it together for maybe one more episode. I thought maybe next week Candice would probably be eliminated, but it already happened. I mean, to me, Candice is a hero. Candice sacrificed herself to get out Colton, the most hated player this franchise has seen, and I think she should be commended for that. For at least offing Colton, even though it was going to blow back and hurt her game. I think I want to start by talking about the atrocious editing this season. People have been posting charts of people that their edit this season and how Colton has been so over edited. Obviously, Rob and Candice have been a big part of the edit too, and Lisa, because they are traitors, and every season the traitors get more of an edit because they are the people trying to carry the show by, offing people and being a part of the drama. But Colton having such a big edit really speaks volumes. Now, this is a chart from last week, the first 7 episodes, and doesn't count this week's episode. But with Colton being so over-edited, it's no wonder this is the most unpopular season of the show. They sacrificed half of the faithfuls' edits to give Colton, who is universally hated, a huge edit just for him to go home with 4 episodes to spare. And now we are left with a majorly under-edited faithful cast left. Although some of them I am glad are on the under-edited side because Maura's accent makes my ears bleed. Like, my original plan for this review was to try and analyze everyone left. But I'm realizing, how is that even possible when all of the faithful left, except for maybe Johnny, have been under-edited? And Eric's not going to be a faithful anymore, so he's not even a faithful anymore. And he's been under-edited too, but maybe less so than everyone else. So Candice's game early on, as we talked about in, I think it was episode 4 or 5, when I talked about it a lot, was how she was letting go of her allies too soon. That would have helped her in the long game. And so it wasn't looking good for her because Rob at least did have allies and Candice was not thinking about the long game. And that was her biggest mistake, especially giving that info to Lisa and Rob that Monet was after Lisa. I think that is definitely someone Candice should have kept in her back pocket. But as I said last week, Candice is loyal to the core. She was on Housewives, and I think she was here. And she decided her loyalty was going to be to the Traitors, because Candice was actually trying to give us good TV. The best seasons of the Traitors are not when the Traitors are fighting the first half of the season, because if they fight too soon, we're left with 4 episodes of nothing burgers to eat and watch, which is what we have this season. On top of that, a part of Candice's decisions, and it's something that white people don't like to hear when we talk about competition reality, but there is literal data to back it up that in past games of Survivor and Big Brother and this very show, is that if a black player doesn't have at least one strong fellow black player or person of color that they're aligned with, there is quite literally with the data an almost 0% chance of winning the game, because the white players will not give the black players many benefits of the doubt like they do with a lot of their fellow white players. Every black winner, except for one, and I believe that winner was on a new era of Survivor when they actually had a even cast of, white people and people of color. But every black winner before that concept at CBS, and that includes Suri of Traitors US Season 1, they needed someone, and usually someone also black, to get to the final five with them. And the data backs that up. Every black winner except one, because the white unconscious bias, or in Dorinda's case, the conscious bias, will be coming out. So Candice sacrificing Monet for the Traitors was always going to be a mistake, and she was never going to win this game. I never felt like Candice was ever actually going to win this game. I still don't hate Candice's vote last week. I said last week it wasn't a strategy to win the game, but it was a strategy to try and take Rob down with her. And I understand petty. I mean, hell, I haven't even watched the last 2 episodes of the show on Peacock. I have a Peacock subscription, but I'm not giving a bad season my watch time because I am petty. So I definitely understand that. We'll circle back to Candice a little. Let's get to Rob's mediocre gameplay. Yes, Devin, mediocre. Without production's help and without production's edit, Rob's game is an extremely mediocre game. The audience has the same double standard as the white players. Portia and Michael did the same mistake saying Portia's the one that got voted out. Ron and Colton were playing the same exact kind of game and pushing for someone at a round table. Ron's the one that got voted out by these faithful. Much like the audience is saying that Candice is too emotional of a player, which she is. And she wanted to sink Rob's game because she was being emotional about it and petty. Rob had an entire episode devoted to him being emotional and how he couldn't vote out Ron and he couldn't vote out Colton, even though he's a traitor and is part of the job. But it was edited in a positive light, for one, and so it's not seen as a slight against him. And then production gave Rob an episode where a woman had to do a murder in plain sight because it was a brooch. And in that same episode, they had their most physical challenge that they've had to get a power. Of course, Rob was going to be a contender for that power. And also this excuse that Rob had to do the first murder in plain sight. All the traitors had to do the first murder in plain sight. Do we not remember the conga line? Somebody has to make a distraction. Yeah, Rob had to pull the thing out, but he also had to talk to Lisa about it in front of everybody else. Every single traitor had to do the first murder in plain sight. The second murder in plain sight had to be a woman because it was a brooch. On a strategy level, the game bots are really giving Candice shit for her vote last week, which, if you take out the social game, sure. But if you're going to take out the social game in that respect, 2 traitors, Rob sacrificing 2 traitors on back-to-back weeks is not good gameplay. Take the social game out of it, and you're just hurting your own numbers. Listen, I'm just not falling for Peacock's attempt to make sure one of their own is seen as a great. Rob is mediocre, and he gets a pass because this is the worst cast of Faithful that I've personally seen. In the history of this franchise of the Traitors US, traitors going after traitors too soon has never worked out for the traitors. So once again, using back data, Rob's gameplay is not good. It is still good on a social level, though. I will give Rob's social game a lot of credit, but strategically, it doesn't make sense. And he's just getting praised because people want to drink his bathwater, just like the faithful cast does, apparently, like Candice said in the episode. Women are down bad if this is the guys that they are sacrificing all logic for, but whatever. What Rob is doing well, though, because I don't think his game is bad, I just don't think it's great. Rob is doing good at remaining calm. I think that really helps him at the round tables for sure. I also think Candice tried to get him out too soon instead of playing the long game. Although she ruined her own long game about earlier, like we said, when she was sacrificing potential long game allies. I think that Rob has a good social game right now, and Candice needed at least a round, but I think a couple of rounds to try and make more headway with her social game. But yeah, that didn't work out. Rob choosing a guy to be a traitor was the right decision. Because if the faithful have any game, they would think, gee, is every traitor really a woman? And start only voting for men. And I can see Natalie and Kristen wanting to jump on that. But these faithfuls are the worst bunch I've ever seen. And they might not even think about that concept, honestly. I've seen all the seasons of Traitors US, obviously. I've seen seasons of the UK. I've seen a season of New Zealand. I've never watched the Traitors Australia. But in all the seasons I've seen, this is my least favorite. I really do think this cast sucks, and the editing is making it even worse. Also didn't like Rob being like, Candice is a poor sport. It was so eye-roll worthy, as if Candice wasn't mad at Rob for game reasons, as if in the history of this show, the past 2 seasons of this show, when a traitor turns on another traitor, it really makes the traitors mad at that traitor too. We saw it with Boston Rob. We saw it with Dan and Parvati and Phaedra. Like, they go to war with each other, which is why it's bad gameplay. No one's ever going to convince me that Rob going after his fellow traitors in the middle of the season was good gameplay. I'm sorry. It was Rob gaslighting, which is what Rob does. It's the reason that Rob has never had a healthy relationship in his life at almost 28 years old. Rob does not like to be held accountable for his own actions. We saw that on Love Island. It does work much better for him here, though. He doesn't have to be responsible for his own actions if he has this social game full of idiots that aren't looking at him. I think in past seasons, when we've seen traitors turn on other traitors and other traitors try to get revenge, just last season with Danielle and Carolyn, people take note. If this cast of faithful has any brain power, they would have actually took note of Rob, but I don't have any faith in this cast. Eric as a traitor appeals to me about as much as a toothache, because he is not good TV. Please, Eric just thinking about watching Eric and Rob in the turret together makes me want to go take a nap, because that just has boring written all over it. But it could be an easy win for Rob, especially judging by the edit. They've edited no other contender to win, even though we still have 4 episodes left. I showed you the data on who is getting the confessionals, and a lot of the people left are not. I've never seen in all of my years of watching reality competition shows, and that's probably 90 seasons or more if you throw in Survivor, Big Brother, and The Challenge. I've never seen an edit so winner heavy from jump if Rob does win. Not even Tony. Tony had a great edit, his first win in Survivor, but there was at least other contenders in the middle of that season. It's been Rob the whole time. It's lazy, weird editing. If someone else wins, they've fucked up their edit, unless it's Johnny and Tara. As I said last week, that's the only people left that I think could win. In the end, I mean, the proof that this season sucks is that even production sees it. They made this season and they said, damn, we really got to make next season with regular people because we're casting like shit. and they're casting like shit. Adding Mark Ballast and Steven to the cast, was that really going to make people tune into this season? If you're going to cast people like that, why not have regular people on a season? It's very logical. I can't fathom that anyone saw Mark Ballast, the dancers on this cast. I really got to see him in a competition Traitors show. I don't see it. My other thoughts on the people left, Kristen's nice to look at, but that's about it. Dorinda has single-handedly made me want to never watch The Real Housewives of New York. I've never seen it. Q and I watched Atlanta, Potomac. She made me watch those. That's how I know Candice and Portia. We started watching Beverly Hills together, a great show. I don't know Lisa Rinna from there. I haven't gone that far yet. I know Lisa Rinna because she used to be on Days of Our Lives in the 90s. But my other choice was maybe we could watch New York someday. Dorinda's ruined that. Never want to see it. Natalie, I will always love Natalie as a Survivor player. She's the best first time playing winner of Survivor. I don't think her skin tone this season is going to work with this Peter Griffin cast, though. I still want Johnny and Tara, the ice skaters, to win. And I think that's everyone. If I'm forgetting someone, they really suck, but I feel like I am forgetting someone. It's Mora. Her voice really, truly does hurt my ears. And she's just a major follower. I think why Eric thought he heard Tiffany laugh is because he had to hear Mora's voice for so long, and it really just fucked up his hearing. Because it's fucked up my hearing having to listen to Mora and her overdone accent.